Well, hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Hopefully, you'll see some interesting changes from what we've done. Turns out some people really enjoy these streams, so I invested some time in making some stuff happen here. But this is Paul and I's normal stream that we're going to be playing around with some InstructLab. And if you notice, Paul isn't here right now, but that's okay because I'm about to hit this button here. And hey, Paul, how you doing, buddy?
Hey JJ, I'm doing great. How are you?
Good, man. So I just invited you in here, but who are you?
I am Paul Tchaikovsky. I am a managed cloud black belt at Red Hat, and that just means I help our customers use the Red Hat cloud services.
Nice, nice. And
And who are you?
yes, a good question. Hi, my name is JJ Asgar, and I'm a developer advocate for IBM. Yes, I have no idea what that means either anymore. But every weekish, let's go with week, Paul and I come together, and if you notice up in my little window here over there, um, we play around with some InstructLab. Hey, Paul, what is InstructLab? Because people might not know.
That is a good question. InstructLab is a way to train an AI large language model with your own data. And it works a little bit different to say if you were using RAG, etc. And basically, you provide it with a document and then a set of questions and answers that document answers.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you train it, it will actually generate 500 or 1,000 more questions and answers like your own. And then it will validate whether or not those answers are good answers. And then it will use those answers along with the document itself to then actually train the model that you're wanting to train. And that lets the model know more about, your domain, whatever that is. So it could be like your business, your enterprise, how you work, what you do, your products, etc.
Yeah. So last week, or the video before this, let's just put it that way, because hopefully you're watching it through the what is it called? Playlist, YouTube playlist. Yeah, YouTube playlist that we've created. We spent some time doing some very general ideas and general talk again, but we had both just gotten brand new laptops, and I purposely held off on installing InstructLab on my laptop, and we got it up and running. Through all the different steps you have to do. It took about 30 odd minutes, just as we discussed it, but we didn't actually do any training. We just got it to work with the local model. So there's a couple different models inside of the InstructLab project, Paul. What is the one we actually used, and why is that important?
Oh, I think we used Merlinite, right?
That is correct. That is correct.
Yeah. So Merlinite is a model. There's an open source model that we work with Facebook on, I believe, called Mistral. Is that right? Is it Facebook we worked with? Meta?
Yes. Yes, Meta. I
Yeah,
believe that is
called
correct. Yes.
Mistral. Anyway, and Mis- Merlinite is basically a further trained version of Mistral,
Mhm.
is my understanding.
That's correct. That is correct. And I just realized that every time I'm looking now, I'm looking away from you, which is a little weird. So I should probably fix that in eventually. So we're
Yes, it's
on
fine.
opposite sides. It's very funny. But yes, so we got it up and running, and we stopped because it was a pretty good stopping point. But what we're going to do today, which may be a little bit faster than normal from some of the other videos we've done, is we're actually going to train one of the models. Now, in the best possible way, we what's the term? Cooking show. Cooking show. When you put the cake, you mix up all the ingredients, and then you put the cake in the oven, and then pull it out, and all of a sudden it's done because the magic of editing. We've done that exact same thing today. I'm gonna not pull any punches and not hide that, just because it's important to recognize that if you are watching this, it does take a little bit of time. Admittedly, though, this machine that I'm on, which is a rather high powerful Mac M3, when I first ran this with a GPU, and if you've been watching our other videos, that Ava machine that you may have seen us play around with with a NVIDIA Tesla chip GPU, it would take about 6 hours to train, if not longer. And this Mac M3, I think it did what I was expecting it to do, because I walked through all the steps and I did get the thing out of it. It took like less than 45 minutes.
Nice.
If not even shorter, just because I walked away because I was assuming it was going to take a while, and I came back and I was like, oh, it's done.
Is it going to take you 45 minutes to talk about how quickly it was able to train it when we could have just trained it while we're talking?
Yeah, exactly. It was very, very surprising. But to Paul's point, yes, let's actually look at some screens here. So here we go. Hopefully you can see us now. And yes, I'm going to tell Paul to get a green screen now, because this is ridiculous. He needs a green screen. But here we go. This is the InstructLab directory. Don't pay attention to this quite yet, because that is the oven. But everything's up and running. So if I do iLab model serve, just like we did last time, and then split my window and go to InstructLab, and then source env activate or bin activate. Yep. iLab model chat, just to prove to everyone this is working. And as you can see, this is not a trained model. This is the 4-bit quantized model we brought down from there. And if I dare say, to Paul's wonderful question, who is Batman? We come along and we see that the model knows about Batman. And I recognize that we are on top of the words, but whatever, you get the point. So I'm going to go ahead and close that down for now. I'm going to go ahead and shut this down too. And I'm going to go ahead and bring up some notes here on another screen, because one of the most important things that I've recognized as I've gone through this is, I'm going to pull these notes over here. Don't pay attention to that. We had, if you didn't know, enough in Red Hat.
Is someone making daiquiris or frozen margaritas over there, JK?
Yeah, I know. It's my vacuum, and of course, that's what happens when you work from home. We at Red Hat Summit, we had some wonderful work done by Julia Denham and Kelly Brown to teach how to do some InstructLab work. And in that process, we created a bunch of InstructLab tutorials around some questions that we knew the Merlinite did not know about. So why am I bringing this up? Well, it turns out we have put in a bunch of PRs now to help give the model some really interesting, useful data. So if you look here is a PR, which is 1187, and what we have are things called an Q&A and an attribution.txt. I know this is very small. I apologize. But the idea is our model does not know about this. And one of the most important things it doesn't know about is, if you did not know, the BBC, one of the questions here, and I will make this significantly bigger. Hang on. One of the questions inside of here is, when did the BBC and Discovery Incorporated split? We've discovered that the model does not actually know this. Discovery. Give me 2 seconds here. I'll find it. I lost it. There we go. So line 20 here. When did the BBC Studies and Discovery Inc. split UK TV? And it was in April of 2019. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to go ahead and start this up again. And I'm going to ask this exact question. When did this split? And last time I tested this, admittedly, was a little while ago, but I'm going to test it anyway. And actually, hold on. I'm going to flip this around. I'm going to do iLab model serve because we don't actually need to see this. And then I'm going to do this iLab model chat. And bring this up. As you can see here, it said it was in 2018. Is that the correct answer, Paul?
I don't believe so.
No. So that's not good, right? So what you do is you create a Q&A file. And what we're doing is we're going to add new knowledge, right? We're going to update this knowledge. Because did you know, Paul, that things on Wikipedia can be wrong sometimes? Did you know this?
Get out of here.
I know, right? It's crazy. It's just crazy. So we are going to...
Hold on, just real quick, though. This isn't Wikipedia being wrong. This is Wikipedia not having information and the AI making up an answer, right?
No. So from what what we've been able to infer, because we don't actually have the full data, unfortunately, on this because we haven't tracked it all the way down. But this model, the Merlinite model, was trained on multiple data sources, including Wikipedia, up until 2022. I believe it was like August 2022 or something like that. So some of the data inside of it is just wrong, or it doesn't know how to find the correct answer. So what we're going to do is we're going to fine tune with this new model, this new Q&A file, which does point to, importantly enough, this right here, which is the summit knowledge of bbcstudios.md, which is a markdown file of the Wikipedia article that has been created. So if we go into BBC Studios, it is exactly what the markdown file is, or sorry, the Wikipedia article is just done as a markdown file. So if we look for April 2019, there we go. In April 19th, it asked to break apart from Discovery Inc. So what we're going to do is we're going to teach this new model this new stuff. So how do we do that, right? So I'm going to go ahead and bring that down and then come over here. And hopefully not cock fit into the mic. And I'm going to go ahead and one of the best things about, because it's already PR, I can do GH PR checkout 1187. So what does this do? Oops. In taxonomy. What does this do? GH repo set default. That one. What does this do? This goes out to GitHub and pulls down that PR for us. So I can do git diff main, and we'll see that there is a few changes here. But what I'm going to do is iLab taxonomy diff. And I spelled something wrong. iLab. Oh, it would be helpful if I was in the correct directory. And then we'll go through and see that there's a new taxonomy Q&A file here in a second. Oh, that is a problem. Hang on. Taxonomy, get remote -v, and get remote, delete origin. So not delete, it is delete. Delete origin. Oh, it's remove. I can never get that right. Remove. And then get remote -v. Get add or remote add origin this get remote delete upstream get remote delete.
Remove.
Gosh, thank you. Remove
Get remote.
Git remote remove. Yeah.
Jesus. Upstream. Git remote add JJ Asgar. HTTP or git at github.com. Is it? I'm gonna remember it's colon, isn't it?
Oh, at this point, it would have been easier to just curl down the file.
Yeah, it would have been. Taxonomy. Okay, but I have noticed that people have run into this problem before because they start playing with this to pull it all down, and things get in weird states. So believe it or not.
Well, I think it's interesting that for whatever reason, the diff requires that you have a very specific Git repository, repo, and branch. Because if you rehosted this repo, would that not then be a problem?
Yeah, no, you're right. And as you notice there, I almost didn't do this. I had to fetch head or origin main again because it's what in taxonomy looks for, right? The Git taxonomy diff looks for origin main specifically. So I had to make sure it was the most up to date. And as you saw, the new branch here, origin main wasn't created. So if I go back up here, now if I do the diff, there we go. So as you see here, it actually saw it and it pulls it down. I realized that was a lot, and I know I shot through it really quickly. But if you are watching this in the future, believe it or not, this problem does appear occasionally, so please take note of it. So if I bring this up, and we go into Knowledge Studios YAML here, inside of taxonomy.
Taxonomy.
Yep. We should probably get that changed. And then we go down to April 2019. There we go. And there is the answer, right? When did it split? Which is exactly what we were hoping for, right? So we have that. We pull out that pull down, and that's great to see. So now, if I type in this next command, ilab data generate, it will this command actually goes off, and I'm going to go ahead and just type it anyway, and it will create a bunch of questions, generate the synthetic data based off of those Q&As. Now, the really neat part about this is that it's relatively quick on this machine. We should see here as it kicks off, it's going to do 100 of these questions, and we can actually see some of the questions pop up in the output, which is kind of fun. Which is pretty neat, and we will see here in a second. There we go. As you can see, it's already pulling in some of the questions here. When was the first search box in America? The first was launched in here. And it says it's going to take about 10 minutes to do all these questions. Obviously, we're not going to sit here and watch them do it all, but this is actually the synthetic, or SDG, if you hear the terms that we use, is a synthetic data generation locally. It's important to recognize that this is local, and this is not with the full model, the quantized. It's with the 4-bit quantized model on your local laptop. This can take a significant amount of time on a lower powered machine, but I'm very lucky here. So this is the first step there. I'm gonna go ahead and Control C out of this because we're not gonna watch it go through the whole thing, and we'll let that do that thing. If we go into InstructLab, if we go into generated, they come out with a bunch of nice little files here. It's discarded, generated, test, and train. Hey Paul, what do you think the train does?
I'm gonna guess that's the the questions and answers that it's going to use for the model.
Yep,
that are not discarded. So I would imagine generated is the full list, and then it splits that into discarded and train.
That is correct. That is correct.
There you go.
So it is a massive JSON file, and it falls underneath the requirements that you're looking for, which is nice. I'm not going to read them all, but as you can see, these are the questions that are looked at, which is nice. So, look at it at your leisure. when you generate, and you kind of see one of the things we see in the SGG process when you decide to upstream a new knowledge to the upstream, we actually look and spot check a lot of these questions, because when new skills are added, specifically skills, if the SGG doesn't generate good data because it doesn't have the skill, that's an actual opportunity for us to improve the model, which is really neat. But this is the process we're going through. All right. So now that we've gotten this trained, now we do the iLab model train. I'm not going to do that because that'll take a little bit of time. Well, actually, it doesn't take that long, but it will create the file for us, which is nice. And then it pulls down the full model, which actually pulls down the safe temperatures and everything like that. So this is when we mentioned about the 60 gigabytes other day about having all the space on your laptop or machine to do this. This is why it all of a sudden takes up all the space, because it has to pull down the safe tensors, which is the way the model is created from Hugging Face, and needs the full thing to be able to train it. Then it quantizes it after the fact to be able to actually run on your laptop or your machine as a whole. So beware of that. By default, it quantizes it back down to the 4-bit quantization. But it does train the full model, because how else are you supposed to train the model? Because you can't train a quantized model. Does that make sense, Paul?
It does make sense.
Okay, good. After that, after we've done the full model, we can do the iLab test here. And this should only take a second here. It'll go in and because I'm in a bad state of me doing some stuff, this obviously is not working, but I'm going to go ahead and shoot right past that. That's fine. And then what eventually happens is, if you look at the directory again, InstructLab, Merlinite, trained, this is actually where the trained model comes out to be, right? As you can see, there is InstructLab, Merlinite, GGUF here, code tokenized model, a few other files to be able to recreate stuff if you need to. But what we're going to do is we're going to come along and we're going to go ahead and come down to here. And we are going to, I will say we have to do convert. There is an iLab convert command, so read the documentation. I did skip over that, but that is part of the parting of the quantization and serving it on a Mac. But then when we're ready, we can actually just type iLab model serve, model path, that trained that very specific version that we have trained, which was this one right here. And then we spin this up. It looks exactly the same. Nothing weird happened, which is nice. And as you can see, it is actually serving from that model. And if I do iLab model chat, we will see that luckily it actually did pull that trained model. So then, if everything's gone the way how we want to, when did this happen? There we go. BBC Studios and split up in 2019. Now, it didn't actually tell us what month it was, but hey, that's a win, right? We fixed the problem. It said it was originally 2018. We gave it the information we needed to, and it came back with 2019. So yeah, isn't that nice? Cool?
That is cool.
Yep. And don't forget also, this also comes from, where is it? This PR. So if you do want to play with this at home, you are more than welcome to pull down this PR and test it for yourself. This, if you notice, just because hopefully you're looking at the upstream ecosystem and thinking about committing back to the upstream ecosystem, this E2E ready tag right here is the goal of an upstream ready you want to, upstream submission you want. EDE means end to end, which means we're going to take the model and train it on this Q&A that you've done. We actually have, as of the recording of today of the 28th of June, we have 45 of these PRs ready to be able to add to the model so it starts gaining more knowledge about stuff, which is something that we should be very proud of, and also includes some new skills. A knowledge is adding new knowledge, where a skill is the ability to take other bits of pieces and create new stuff. For instance, this inclusive IT terminology done by Nicholas. By the way, Nicholas, if you're watching this, thank you so much. This is a amazing skill submission where they use better inclusive terms in IT. We all know that the term master and slave is wrong. We shouldn't be using that. Or blacklist and whitelist. We should be using allow list and deny list. Nicholas has actually trained the model with this skill to look for those uninclusive terminologies and actually turn them into inclusive terminology from the model. So you can actually ask it to do that, which is pretty dang impressive when you think about it. So again, if you want to play around with it, this is good. I have a very strong feeling that this 1211 PR here is going to become our poster child of our good submissions when it comes to skills, because it worked extremely well. All right, Paul, what else do you got?
I got nothing. I was gonna show off that I got Stable Diffusion running at home on my AI box, but I'm not sure what happens if I share my screen.
Yes, let's hold off on that for next week,
Right.
because we're still playing with this, and I think it's pretty neat from what the hopefully, first of all, also hopefully this is all in HD now. One of the reasons why we did all this changing stuff is because we wanted HD so people can actually see it better. I recognize that it wasn't that great. So hopefully now it's in HD. Hopefully people can see things that we're typing better and be able to read it. And Paul will get a green screen or something soon, because it is very strange to have that picture of them. Anyway,
I was not given appropriate warning that I needed to have on my background.
Yeah, it's fine. We'll figure it out. That's the best part about this. And hopefully if you're watching this, you enjoy it. This was a nice little short video kind of showing off the end part. Obviously in real life, this takes a lot longer. But hopefully this gave you enough knowledge to go from there. Cool. Paul, we'll see you again next week. Yeah, buddy.
Yeah. See you next week.
All right. You want to say bye, Paul?
Bye, Paul.
Bye, Paul.